Hello everyone, this is Cookies. I have turned 31 and it's been longer than I thought it's been. But yeah, so it's probably been 2 to 3 weeks. So I think we're uh, maybe 15 to 20 turns behind. I forget. So we got a lot of catching up to do. Now, when it comes to this particular war against Agartha, we're moving in. It looks like we've pinged Agartha. And we see mostly a PD dump, so not a big deal. We've got Archytus. All right, so we've got a large army here. There's a... What is this, a throne? Okay. Doesn't look too bad. Got some elephants on the left flank that we need to take care of. We go ahead and cast Foul Vapors. Oh, looks like I'm dissolving too. So I think it's this lady survives. Now, I do wonder if this is a... It's not a replay bug. Okay. Oh, so if I remember. Okay, so I barely lose this. Was very much on... I would have won if they just stuck around, but I guess I took too much attrition. And this is the throne in my southeast. Then we've got Calum with a very small army attacking Scaleria. Definitely not the kind of critical mass you need in terms of priests to banish all this stuff. Alright. So, loses just about everything here, including 4 Seraphs and 1 High Seraphim. Along with 8 priests. And then 224 out of the 288. In Umbor, we went to go ahead and try and ping the Agarthan main army that had moved out, but there's nothing here besides some PD. There's a fertility cult. We get hit by a huge barbarian attack. We have some freethinkers leave, and we find an ore deposit. There is an arena battle scheduled, and it looks like we go ahead and enter. We send our adventurer, because we don't want to pay his upkeep. And in here is a big, Voice of the Hunters. So he's brought one of his big sacred combatants. Now it's not blessed. He didn't have like a bottle of holy water. I forget the name of the item, but it makes your sacred guy blessed. But it should still be enough to kill an adventurer. Although it does get confused. Alright, but when it does make combat, it instantly kills our adventurer. And yeah, and then we get slammed by a bunch of barbarians. The panic goes ahead and retreats successfully. 100 barbarians killing 28 barbarians. I'm not sure if we really need to watch this, but small horde against big horde. Alright. So, let's see. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. So we've got Net of Anger busy attacking Pythium. We can also see Machakas attacking Pythium, so we know those two neighbors are busy. End, from what we can see, appears to be attacking Shinuyama, but it seems like they've frozen a bit, and then Shinuyama is counterattacking into Abyssia. Naba is invading Marignan. And Calum is fighting with Scaleria. So we do get our 1v1 with Agartha. I probably covered that in one of the last ones, but it's a good review for me. And we have two armies. So we've got this army here with 650 things, including a lot of Black Centaur, a lot of mannequins, a lot of Carrion Furies. We've got this army, 356 things, more Carrion Furies, more Centaur. And we've started adding in Harpies to try and threaten the mage line. And I don't want to fight Agarthas' army with a PD dump on his capital until I have a chance to combine my armies. Now, the smarter move would have been to send this army to Silverworld. That way these two armies could join up if needed, rather than down here. Sending them down here doesn't do a whole lot besides rotating around the capital. So Silverworld would have been the better play, but this is where I end up going. But the goal is when the other stack lands here, we can combine on Agartha, and that should be about 1,000 units, and we should be able to just overwhelm Agartha at that point. Additionally, we've had barbarians. Now, they didn't cut our income because we've taken forts down here, but they have cut our line of reinforcement. Getting around these barbarians means we have to come all the way up to Lost Canyon Range and dip down. So the barbarians have to go. So attacking the barbarians, we've got a lot of stuff from the capital region, including more Carrion Furies. We've got Sagittarian carcasses, more mannequins, and a handful of Black Centaur. In terms of recruitment, we're down to just 3 Black Centaur a turn. We're getting a fair number of Dryads, or I guess Panics too. So we've got decent income, because we have a bunch of land that doesn't have our Dominion. All of our allies have all of our neighbors have very helpfully templed all along our border. As long as we don't get Dom killed, that'll help us preserve a lot of income. And so we've got here, we're making 200 gold a turn, 30 gold, 111 gold, 90, 82, 136. So a lot of gold coming in. We're not at risk for something like Purgatory going up just yet and killing all of our stuff. But at some point we will have to spread our dominion consistently within our lands. But that point is not quite yet. All right, in terms of research, we're about to get Construction 5. Construction 5 is a big target. It allows us to get Dreamstones, so we can pour all of our Glamour Gems into Dreamstones, put those on our Dryads, and our research should really inflect up. In terms of graphs, you can see we're doing pretty good on research. 697 on turn, what is it, 31? It's not out of this world, but I'd say it's probably decent, and we're about to make it a lot better. Especially, it's probably decent for not having much construction research. So yeah, so we've got this big Agarthan group that we got to deal with. And we also need to try and secure this throne that we failed on. So we did lose 300 something things on here, and so we need to split in such a way that we kill Gold Mountains, but we also take this and potentially win any bumps with, mainly I was concerned about Nabah. It's not enough to win a big bump, but it is enough to maybe kill a thug. Nabah thugs are extremely good at killing mannequins, though. Most of them, almost all of them, have fire magic to be able to do fire shield with. But we're going to hope between foul vapors and some of the Sagittarian carcasses that we could deal with one. So that's the idea here. Just trying to quickly put our claim on this and see what it is. All right, so I think that's it for this turn. And I will go ahead and jump into turn 32. Okay, I've got turn 32 pulled up, and let's go ahead and dive into what's going on this turn. We've got the throne cleanup effort. Just a mage. Also a mage with a Mingasha parrying. That would be nice to get. Okay. So we did spend a couple of gems there, but it may or may not have been worth it. It was worth it that we didn't actually bump with Nabah. Alright, and let's see, we've got another suicidal attack from Calum. Not enough mass to defeat this army, but still slamming into it. He is getting close to flattening some of the thaumaturgs with mammoths, but they went around the square, which was very unfortunate. We can take another quick look and I'll point it out more. So here are the thaumaturgs. So if this mammoth had gone straight rather than to the right, he might have gotten 3 mage kills. So a little unlucky, but still not putting mist form on the mammoths feels pretty bad. And I think these are the raptor mercs. So overall, just not enough stuff. Kills some stuff, but takes about even casualties. You can't be doing that with Scalaria. We've got a couple of battles between Shinyama and Abyssia. So we've got some Dai Bakemono. All right. And then in Gelinia Agora, we have another dieback mono raid against some PD. Except these look like they were kind of scripted to attack, or hold an attack. Very nice. So a couple of wins for Shiniyama. We go ahead and try to take on the barbarians. We have large flanking contingents on this, and then along with the Black Centaur. And then the massive mannequins to meet up front and get hammered. Now, it is a little bit sad that I didn't take into account the walking speed of the Satyr mannequins, because they are the slightly better mannequins. So they've got higher MR at 14 than the base mannequin. And they do 1 more damage. But the higher MR really comes into play later in the game, so it is useful if you can get away with it to save them. Barbarians get a pretty nice surround here. Trying to get those carrion seeds out, trying to get some replacement mannequins. You can see a couple popped up there. New one right there. So we do gain back a few of the mannequins, but it's nothing profitable. So we lose 17 of the Satyr mannequins. That does feel a little bit bad. We do lose a carrion behemoth, but on the whole, taking out 100 barbarians for this isn't too bad. And then we've got 3 fights with Agartha. So in Silver World, we have a pack of Black Centaur out raiding, going up against some cavemen. Alright, so we managed to win that. And we do end up killing that cave captain. In Agartha, we go ahead and ping. And we finally find out what we're up against. So we've got a block of magma kids out in front. They're going to burn a hole through whatever formation they run into. We've got penumbrals. These I don't think are as big of a deal, because we do have a lot of magic attacks, but it's more stuff, and it's especially more HP. Yeah, they're not inanimate, which is what I believe, the tag I believe you need to avoid sleep vines. Whereas these attentive statues are, so they're going to be pretty annoying to deal with. We'll have to harass them down and kill them through the 22 protection. It's going to be pretty difficult. Shard Guard, we can absolutely fatigue out, and then we'll start getting those critical hits, and that should work reasonably well. We'll lose some to the Shard Glaives, but not too scared of them, nor the Pale Soldiers. Agarthan Infantry will also take some time to work through. Earth Elementals are a danger. Again, they're inanimate. They've got their own region. They have a hard-hitting Crystal Fist. So we're going to... Fortunately, they're not too hard to harass down. But they do have okay-ish protection. But yeah, they're definitely going to hit back pretty hard. And then light infantry shouldn't be too big of an issue. And then we have a tremendous number of mages who could definitely be an issue. Especially high earth holy threes. Looking at this army, I was extremely relieved to see no gems on this army. I was worried about earthquake spam when we got to this point where we were thinking about fighting the main Agarthan stack. And earthquake spam would be extremely bad for my mannequins. So this looks takeable, so we're gonna start doing red arrows onto it. For Umbor, you can see my army formation here, a lot of spread lines to let stuff filter through, and then a lot of flanking forces. Unfortunately, we do lose a lot of the harpies here. So that was a scripting mistake. I should have had the harpies, I guess, were just in case the Agarthan army struck out, but the better idea would have been to keep them hidden, traveling with the army, and use them for the commit onto Agartha itself. So we do end up losing most of the harpies, so that's just a bunch of wasted gold. And then attacking into Morn, we've got Nidavellir with some Nidbetheds going after just a little bit of PD. We can use it to see his bless again, so he is getting some body ethereal put on these guys. He's got fire resistance, undying, righteous wrath, spirit sight, and affliction resistance. All right. So loses one Bakemono, not a big deal. We apparently this is an event. I didn't look at the events for the Throne of Gaia, because I'm not sure I've ever gotten a good event like this, but we end up getting +4 Dominion, which is great. We get 17 Satyr Snakes, which is, they cost upkeep. So, but, you know, it's, if I can get them to the front lines in time, it's some folks I can put out there to soak up Mind Blasts, and I get a Dryad Mother, which I'm very excited about. It's a seducing mage, so it adds a new capability to my army. And then we get a big treasure event with a Rod of the Phoenix, which the plan already is to put the Rod of the Phoenix on the Dryad that we just got. So she can do something big like Swarm or Creeping Doom, and then use Rod of the Phoenix to try and kill whoever she's fighting, because odds are folks that invade me are not going to have fire resistance. I don't think that makes a heck of a lot of sense, at least on individual commanders, so it should be pretty effective. And then we get a ton of gold, which is fantastic. It means a lot of new mages. And then in Silver World, we have an assassination attempt. And unfortunately for us, it's content to just use its web spit attack. So if it ran up and applied a death poison, we'd be done for. Okay. And then we've got, we catch an indie attack going after end. It's another horde of barbarians. They're always coming out of the woodworks. Okay. And then, oh, and then I think that was our ping. No, we get patrolled out here. Right, because we had already pinged Agartha. Okay, so what are we up to? So this army is going to go provide reinforcements to the main army. Additionally, we're going to reinforce this throne because we do see it's one of our top thrones that we wanted. It is the Throne of Water. So as soon as we claim this, we get +3 defense skill, and we get access to Hydromancers, which allows us, when we get to 8, it'll allow us to put fire resistance and cold resistance on our armies, which will be really nice. And the +3 defense skill, I believe, bumps us up to +7 for Black Centaur, so they'll be very dodgy. And we get a couple of water gems. So, yeah, this was definitely, well, it's pretty rare where you look at a throne list and you're like, I want these two, and you get both of them. But this was definitely one of those rare games. So we're definitely happy about it. We're going to go ahead and claim it. We're also going to reinforce it like crazy. So we're going to bring the garrison up to about 300. And then I believe we're also building a lab here so that we can pull out some more nature gems for our Patheus to do foul vapors. Then, and this was a really nice piece of timing in terms of news, because it means when we go on to Agartha's capital here, we're going to have that new throne claimed. So the new defense could take place if there's a pitched fight outside the fort. And we've got 590 and 345. So not quite 1,000 troops, but getting close to it. And in terms of recruitment, because of the gold event, we're maxing out all over the place. We're getting a lot of dryads. We're getting more panics. We're getting the far more expensive dryad hag, who's a lot more capable in combat with guaranteed nature 2. Potentially death 2 and glamour 2. Also has some opportunities with earth and water to self-buff. So yeah, just very useful mages, or you can, it's, you know, it might be worth putting the odd earth boots on one of these ladies so she can do earth buffs for you. All right. There is some concerns that this group's going to migrate into me, but not a heck of a lot I can do about that at the moment. Most of my forces are busy. I'm thinking the next crop of stuff that comes out is maybe what I'll send up here to defend this stuff with. All right. And yeah, and then we're sending these guys out as well with a few mannequins. So I think that's it for this particular turn. We can see Shiniyama continuing to advance, Scalaria continuing to hold down on the siege of Kalem. Machaka's starting to move in, has a fort under siege. Nidavellir has a fort under siege. Scalaria has a fort under siege. Poor Pythium's getting 3v1'd, which never feels good when you're in that position, especially when other nations aren't caring about it or coming to help. So I'm busy in my war against Agartha. Scalaria is obviously busy. Nabah's busy. So there's, and Shiniyama and Abyssia are busy, so just no one available to come to his aid. And oh, and I do a small trade with Scalaria. I forget what I'm going to get for this, but I send him 15 water gems. I think he's going to send me maybe glamour, which I can use to make dreamstones with. Our research is at 708, but we have a lot of mages making those dreamstones this turn. So next turn, I'm hoping to see a much higher research tally, especially when a lot of that new recruitment comes in. And this particular gold event came from Ballin's scales. Ballin took full scales. And this is one of many gold events that we're going to get from Ballin's scales. So thank you, Ballin. And yeah, I think that's it for turn 32. I can probably call it here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.